Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network. Welcome to Couch Pilots, all my friends. This is the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason. You can call me the Black Magdalene, and across from me is my favorite pilot and yours, Co-Captain Philip Ressisher. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm hot and bothered. Usually that pertains to sexual activity, but I'm just warm in this room, and I'm bothered by a fly that will not die.
Why do you have your hoodie on if you're warm?
And these are the questions that plague us.
Because I can take care of that real quick. I just open the door again.
Oh, I thought you meant like you were going to undress me.
Well,
hey, you know what?
Hey,
I'll pick door number B. Undress me.
And, you know, whenever you get a fly in the cabin of a airplane.
It's a metaphor for something far greater.
Exactly. Sorry.
Did you receive a text message?
Always.
Who's it from?
The stewardess. She said, we're out of Evian.
A true problem in this day. This is modern problems, right? This is the Modern Problems cast.
You know, sometimes, I mean, you know, as podcasters, as pilots of major podcasts, and you're in the middle of making radio gold, basically.
Mm-hmm. We're spinning gold.
Sure. Like what's his name?
Rapunzel.
Yes, Rapunzel. No.
Cinderella.
No.
Rumpelstiltskin.
I like that guy. My wife watches that Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
And I love the Rumpelstiltskin.
I've never seen it.
Don't waste your time. It's ridiculous. But, you know, sometimes we get interrupted. You know, and you got to take care of stuff.
You almost have to block out time in a project
I do.
Or to plan for screw-ups.
I plan out time and say, hey, I'm podcasting during this, and this time don't bother me. Doesn't matter.
But I almost mean you have to like plan on there being bumps in the road. You have to add time into whatever you're doing because you know something's going to get screwed up.
There's a lot of times that we're flying, our flight path shows clear skies.
Exactly right, but you never know. What's that big guy in the sky going to do next,
right.
You know?
Turbulence, rain,
maybe.
Lightning. Are we going to have to go up higher, go down lower?
It's my job to go up and down, right?
Yeah, I do everything in the middle.
Yeah.
But if we're in the middle of a flight and we have to go above the clouds, I put my hands back.
And you wake me up. I'm all you wrap me like a child in like an infant, like in a burrito,
sure,
kind of a blanket situation, and you kind of nuzzle me up. You say, "Hey, wake up! Wake up! Clear skies. It's not happening. We got to go up or we got to go down." And then I'm like, 5 more minutes. You're like, "We got to do this now."
Right. So, you know, turbulence happens, not only in pilots, but also in podcasts and also in life.
And pilot television shows, too,
Exactly.
Which is what we're here to talk about today. What have you been up to lately? Right now, I see you eating some gummy worms, right?
Right, which is horrible for a podcast.
It absolutely is. Why would you consume anything or put a vibrating device on your table? These are rules that you put into place yourself. You are above them, apparently. We are Sky Cops.
Sure, we're Sky Cops. I do whatever the hell I want.
So we can break the rules,
right.
I suppose.
This isn't IBWIP at IBWIP.com. This is more relaxed.
We're 10,000 feet in the air.
Right, there's no rules.
This is our domain.
Well, you know, we talked about, you know, the new airplane that we're getting, Air Force One. So I'm really just kind of packing up everything because we have to give this back to Judas Priest. Because they're going to give us a kickback.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're ending up. I'm kind of embarrassed, but I negotiated, and we're getting more back for it than we actually paid for it.
Well, think about this. This is a plane from the late 70s that they had, right?
Right.
We put a little bit of money into it.
We
got it at a steal.
Sure, we had to sharpen the propellers.
Yeah.
You know,
so they can cut through the air quicker.
Sure, we had to wax the wings.
Yeah.
And the front glass, the windshield had a big old crack in it.
Yeah, we had to retread the tires, Right?
Oh yeah, remember that first flight when we took it out to test drive it, and we came down on. And,
I was bringing it down.
Yeah, you were bringing it down, and we slid sideways.
Yeah, it was like Fast and the Furious. We're just drifting across.
Right.
And like, this is wildly unsafe.
Sure.
I know we nicked DSJ. I think we broke one of his ribs.
Yeah.
It would have killed the lesser man.
And it was funny because that's why we hired him, because that was the first time we had met him, and we felt bad, so we hired him.
Yeah.
So we didn't understand.
And he said, "Well, he's like, I got to go to the doctor. I got to get this taken care of." And it was like, how about we make we have a permanent home with Couch Pilots.
Sure.
We'll employ you for the rest of your days.
Right.
And thereby, ergo, kind of going around a lawsuit there.
Yep, that's what we do. We go around lawsuits.
Yep, we take them up and then bring them back down right over lawsuits, right over storms in the sky, anything that would be in our way. We circumnavigate it with this plane of ours.
Right, and so, like I said, we're packing up this plane. What have you been up to?
How good does that gummy bear look right now? You're just fingering it. Oh, there it is. There it goes. I hope it was worth it. God damn you, I hope it was worth it. What have I been up to? Oh, you know me, man. I just the fall is here. It's harvest. I'm going out to a lot of great festivals locally, enjoying the crisp autumn air, eating delicious apples, carameled apples in some cases.
We have caramel apples right here.
Delicious.
Very expensive.
They are a little pricey from a local orchard that everyone visits, apparently.
Yeah. It was a lot of people. Now, with harvest season coming up, I mean, you're super busy because you spray the fields after they plow them and harvest them. Don't you? Yeah, because you have a little prop jet plane.
I don't like to talk about it. I do have a little prop plane
On the side project.
Sure. You and I, we do this every Monday.
Right.
We do this every Monday. We go up in the sky. We record an episode. We take the plane back down. And that's it for you and our eyes working relationship. We're in contact.
Right, because you won't spend any time with me outside of this.
Right. If there's not a microphone in front of my face, then count me out.
Right.
Okay?
Right. I saw pictures of you at your brother's wedding, and I'm like, who is that guy?
Where's the microphone?
Who's that guy? I can't recognize him because there's not a microphone in his face. Why isn't he wearing headphones?
Yeah, no kidding. That's very, very funny. There are 6 other days in the week, though.
Yeah.
And I have to make ends meet. Are we raking it in here and doing a world tour and starting different versions around the globe of Couch Pilots? You bet we are.
I mean, we barely had enough money to pay for Obama's version of Air Force One.
Yeah.
But like I said, I got a good deal.
We got a good deal. How could we pass that up? But I would be silly to put all my eggs in this basket. No offense. So in the downtime, as the season's a lot of people asking to get married in the spring. They say, hey, proposing marriage. So what am I doing? I'm up in the sky, skywriting letters,
or
I have the big banner in the back, waving back. Hey, Julia, will you be my wife?
Right.
Or I'm doing the smoke show, flying up and down. Will you marry me?
And you know what? I remember in pilot school. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was a class that you aced. No, pun intended by saying ace. But that you could write in cursive,
right?
Calligraphy. You did some calligraphy stuff.
I can write in wingdings as well. I'm very good.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And some of that is crop dusting, and I'm not referring to farting, which I'm a notoriously gassy young man. I'm getting on in age, but I'm very gassy. But I do crop dust all the fields out there for farmers. Local farmers will pay me handsomely. Sure. Get a little of that cha-ching in my pocket, right? Get out there and I'll do pesticides in the summer, and I'll crop dust later, and it's a lucrative business.
It seems like you got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm very busy. Schedule's very full. What about you? What do you do every other week? Apparently, I'm sure you have a lot of other ventures that you're involved in.
No, I just kind of hang out, waiting for Mondays. I don't have anything else going on.
Week to week, you're just waiting for Monday to roll around.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else going on. I don't have no job or anything.
You're you're a skilled young man to a degree. Again, not young, I guess. You're getting on
older
age.
Than you
by 6 years, as this podcast is determined. Surely there's something you could be doing with your time other than just waiting.
No, I just.
Okay, what about DSJ, the young man we mentioned earlier who's on our tarmac with the golden cones? Couldn't he get you a job somewhere? He's well connected. He knows the president of the United States. He whitewashes trays at McDonald's, right?
Right. He said, "Hey, do you want to be a roadie
for who?
For Led Zeppelin tribute band?
What's that called? Get the something out, right?
Get the lead out.
That's right.
And I was like, no, that stuff's heavy. You know, I have a wife and kids. I can't be, going all over the country.
I guess that's the case, but I mean, I hate to think that you're wasting away 6 days a week just preparing for the next show.
And a lot of times I'm looking at my phone waiting for you to text me.
Wow.
I'm waiting for you to text me right now.
I mean, we're right in front of each other's face. There's microphones and headphones in front of our faces.
I thought maybe you'd just text me so that I could read it later on.
Yeah, it's not. I can totally do that. This is this is getting a little. This is a little weird. I'm sorry.
If you want to forward me some text messages.
Yeah, I get texts on the reg. I can forward you. I guess some of the ones that are kind of generic and not as personal. You're really kind of putting me in a weird spot here.
Your Blockbuster video. The text messages from Blockbuster video.
About my late VHS tapes?
Yeah. I'm just joking. I got all kinds of stuff going on.
Oh, thank God, because you were really fucking creeping me out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
You've heard of couches. We've all got a couch.
You've heard of pilots. You've seen pilots.
We've all got a pilots, right?
No.
Oh, what? Hold on.
We're a dying breed.
What is in your mouth? Here, give me some of those. I'm just kidding. I don't want. They are delicious. I will not sully the sanctity of this show with those goddamn gummy worms.
Sully from Monsters, Inc.?
Sully from Sullenberger. Miracle on the Hudson. Starring Tom Hanks.
I keep forgetting about that guy.
Which, Tom Hanks?
No, Sully the Sullenberger.
The Sullenberger.
he made a commercial the other day. I saw him on a commercial. He was like, people call me a hero. But you know who I think are people are heroes? It's the people of St. Jude.
Oh, that's good. Good guy. Yeah. That's awesome. He's really doing something with this.
I'm like, thank you big drunk.
I want to go to Walmart and purchase the Sullenberger. It's like a sad burger that was like maybe a little stale or soaked too much with ketchup. It's just kind of limping off to the side.
It's got like little goose feathers in it.
Right. Oh, the Sullenberger. Wah, wah. We've all got couches. I was led to believe we all have pilots. You say no, that's not the case. No, that's not the case. Put them together, what do you got? You got this show, Couch Pilots. The show where we fly through the air and we talk about one-off television shows, TV shows that had one and only one episode. Sometimes they were just put online. Sometimes they aired and flopped hard.
Sometimes they just were on Facebook.
Yeah. Sometimes
MySpace.
Sometimes they're just on Friendster. We don't know. We don't know where they're going to pop up, but we find them, we watch them, we dig into them, and we report back to you, our frequent flyers.
Whoops. Nice.
Whoops. Sorry about that. Today, we discuss the pilot episode of The New Big Ball from the year of our Lord, 2000 plus 10. Great year.
I remember that year really well.
Hit me with it. What do you got? This is good because usually I start to talk about what happened during that year to put the listeners in that mind frame, but you already got something locked and loaded.
Yeah, I caught a 10.5-pound smallmouth bass.
All right.
That was a big deal for me.
Is that a local watering hole that's kind of a secret, or is that a place that you can talk about?
I can't talk about it
because it's a secret, or you just refuse to talk about it.
It's a secret that I refuse to talk about.
Fair enough.
I saw my first giraffe.
Okay, in person or just ever?
Ever.
You never saw a picture of a giraffe or anything on TV?
It's the first time I went to the zoo I saw it because they had a new African exhibit.
Let me ask you this. Did you know giraffes existed? Have you heard descriptions of them before? Or did you see this and you're like, what the fuck is this?
I was like, this is a freakishly weird. God played a practical joke on this elephant.
It's like a horse tried to hang itself and it's just a silly putty neck. Yeah, if I had never heard or seen a giraffe and just happened upon one at a zoo,
the fuck out of you,
I would go ape shit.
Yeah. So those are two big things that happened to me.
Those are great hallmarks for the year. I got a couple here if you don't mind. I used a different site for this, so it's a little bit more wordy. Team Coco rules. You know what Team Coco is?
Team Coco.
That's Conan O'Brien.
Ah, yes.
Back in 2004, when Jay Leno signed a deal to host The Tonight Show for 5 more years before turning the franchise over to Conan O'Brien, the host in waiting said puckishly, "Let's hope it gets ugly, then we'll have some fun." Boy, was he right. I never knew he said that, but that's interesting. Okay, we're not in that. Okay, I thought we were in interesting facts for a second. I almost.
Oh no, you're fine.
NBC got this brilliant idea to move Jay to primetime in the fall of 2009 while going through its deal to give Conan the Tonight Show. Jay bombed badly, and Conan bombed not quite as badly. So the network tried to put Jay back at 11:30 p.m. The result: Leno's reputation was besmirched. Conan got a $32 million buyout after an ugly fight, and then moved to TBS. And the NBC executives behind the move got shown the door. Ugly.
That's a very ugly situation. But I mean, really, I think for Conan, he rose to the top. I mean, he was the cream of the top.
He was the cream of the top, as the saying goes.
I mean, in this incident, he had the least amount of egg on his face, I think.
Right. I never thought Jay Leno was all that funny.
No, never once thought he was funny.
I feel like I would always joke that a class of second graders were writing his monologue. It was. I mean, he was a stand-up comic.
Sure.
And back in the day, everyone loved Jay Leno. All the comics said this guy is the best.
This guy's
And he would go and he would host the Tonight Show for Johnny Carson when he was gone. Johnny Carson, he was so confident in himself. He wasn't worried about someone stepping up to the plate and taking his spot. He was so confident, and rightfully so.
Right.
He was absolutely the king of late night. That he didn't care. He would let other people co-host.
When he wanted to take a vacation or something.
Sure. He'd have Gary Shandling step in or Joan Rivers.
I loved when Gary Shandling. I miss Gary Shandling.
Gary Shandling was great.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. for sure. And then you got Jay Leno. And then they would start to call Jay Leno more and more frequently because Jay Leno, there was a base price that they would pay someone, the lowest amount. And Jay Leno would say, just give me that price. That's fine. He wouldn't bargain for more like maybe a Joan Rivers or a Gary Shandling would, or whoever else stepped into that seat. He would just say, give me the base price. That's fine. I'll come in and do it. I'd be happy to do it. Great exposure. I'm sure NBC at the beginning got a great deal on Jay Leno, even though Carson wanted Letterman to take his spot, and Letterman absolutely wanted it.
Right.
But that did not work out that way. 15, 20 years later, the whole thing plays out again.
That's crazy.
It's nuts. These networks cannot properly hand over a great franchise. Why do you think that is?
Greed, ego. Ego is probably the biggest one. I would say greed, ego, and an allergy to gluten.
Yeah, it's funny because this beer that I'm drinking right now says crafted to remove gluten. It's Dora Dam lager beer. Awful.
You take a lager drink?
Why is fucking Chumbawamba becoming referenced so often on this show?
It does seem like it happens a lot, doesn't it?
They really ran the gamut of different alcoholic beverages to the point where they're constantly referenced. God bless them.
God bless Chumbawamba.
I like Conan. I don't think he's doing nearly as well on TBS as he could have if he was still on a network. I think all these guys, every time there's a change made, you need to give them a grace period to assimilate. And it says Conan bombed not quite as badly. I don't think he did bomb as bad as people thought.
Right.
I like Conan. I think he's very good. Jay Leno, not great. I think Jay Leno's like a businessman. I think he's probably a little shrewd as a businessman, but he's been known to do a ton of charity and give a lot. I think Jay Leno's a good dude overall. He's willing to. He's on obscure podcasts. Like he'll jump. You ever hear Jay Leno? He was on like Jay Moore's podcast.
I never heard him on a podcast before.
He was on something else recently. He has great stories from back in the day when he was a comic. But stand-up. Absolutely. But in this case, Conan should have the Tonight Show still, if you ask me. As a real bum deal for him. It stinks. Anyway, it's still Snooki time. It's hard to say exactly why, but Jersey Shore, MTV's Down and Dirty reality show, retained its grip on the public consciousness for another year, even though it had moved from Seaside Heights, New Jersey to Miami for one season. It was hard to go out on Halloween without seeing costumes based on Nicole Snooki Polizzi, Mike the Situation Sorrentino, DJ Pauly D, DeVecchio, and the rest of the gang. And the Beach Boys and girls kept the publicity pot bubbling by turning up on Dancing with the Stars and Police Blotters.
I really think that was the start of the downfall of reality television. That lineup. It was just a bunch, and I don't have anything against people from Jersey. I mean, look at Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, look at him. He's the boss.
Yeah.
You don't get the name the boss.
Right.
Billy Joel. From a shit state.
Billy Joel.
Sure.
Barbara Streisand.
The greatest.
But then he came up with like DJ Stupidite and Snooki, and they were just it was disgusting to watch. I cannot believe were people watching it because they were so disgusting. of people, or were people watching it because they actually were entertained and thought these people were cool?
That I always think about
That's
that.
the age-old dollar question.
Very well said. But I love Howard Stern, and they I remember in the movie they would say a lot of people are watching him or listening to him just to hear what he'll say next.
Right.
Not that they were fans or enjoyed it, but
like,
they were just,
this is a great radio. No,
they want to be shocked. What's going to happen next? I think this is a very similar effect with Jersey Shore. I've never seen an episode of it. I have no interest in it. Looks like a big steaming pile of garbage.
Yeah, it is.
The Lost sign-off. After 6 years, it all came to an end on Lost. The episode, which aired May 23rd of 2010, was the biggest event of the TV season as millions tuned in to finally learn just what the heck had been happening on the often brilliant but also often maddening series about a group of castaways on an island of mysteries. The final scene, set in a church with all of the principal characters on hand, was completely reflective of the show. Many viewers were moved to tears, while others went, "What, 6 years? This is it?" Hey, at least it just didn't go to black like The Sopranos.
Right. I never watched one episode of Lost.
Me neither.
When you're reading that summary, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I mean, I have no idea what I'm talking about either. I never saw it.
And I love reality shows.
Now, Lost was not a reality TV show.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
Oh, I thought they put them on an island and they had to live.
That's Survivor.
Oh.
You ever hear of Survivor?
Yeah, it was a great band.
Yeah. Well, they had Eye of the Tiger, right?
Yep.
They had Living on a Prayer.
And Baby Got Back.
Baby Got Back. And I think they even had Don't Stop Believing. Right?
Oh.
Great band.
Great band. They survived.
They did survive. Taylor Swift, Kanye West, whatever. How old were you?
Have they been fighting for 6 years?
I think so. When you want to settle someone's hash or squash a beef, what do you go to? Do you have like a gummy worm eating contest?
No. I mean, what I normally do is just be like, listen, we're adults. Mm-hmm. I got a life to lead. You got a life to lead. It's worked with every beef except one.
Oh, which one? Ex-wife?
Second wife, yeah.
Second wife, okay. All right. And that's great. But these guys are going at it for 6 years like cats and dogs. How old were you?
Because they're publicity whores.
Sure. Got to stay relevant, right? Got to keep your name coming out of people's mouths.
Right.
How old were you in the year of our Lord 2010?
See, that was 6 years ago.
Right.
I was 34.
34?
35.
35. Yeah.
35.
You're 41 right now, right? Okay. I was 29. Great age. Great age.
Probably better than 30. Like, I wish I was 29 again.
I do, too.
I wouldn't eat as many cookies in the middle of the night.
Oh.
I wouldn't eat as many gummy worms.
During a show?
This is the same thing that happened with the pizza that one night. Remember that pizza night? You just shamed me the whole time. And when you left, I just cried and ate more.
You did not. I believe you ate more. I don't think you probably were in tears. Now we say, why did we... Like, the whole point of Couch Pilots is to watch one-off television shows, but what made us pick the new big ball?
Well, there's three criteria that we must adhere to for every pilot. Otherwise, we would get lost, and we would just be...
Just like that reality show, Lost.
Right. There's got to be rules, just like in life.
Mm-hmm.
The three criteria. A, it had to be a one shot. You know, one episode.
One shot, one kill.
One shot, one kill. Confirmed kill.
Thank you.
Did not go to series, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one.
Correct.
It had to be free. We're not going to pay for these. They're horrible.
What do I look like? I got pilot money in my pockets? Come on.
Right. You get crop dusted money.
Yep.
And three, we had to be able to find it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's lists and lists and lists all over the internet of, hey, these wish these would have been popular. Or, I wish these would have went. But you can't find them all.
Yeah, just because they say, hey, this show exists doesn't mean that there's a classically blue link for us to click on.
Right, so it's got to have those three.
Absolutely it does. I think we should take off. I think that's enough information to take off.
Great idea.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
As we look to the runway and see DSJ with those golden cones directing us into the wild blue yonder, we think of Days of the Past and Days of Future Past, the movie by Bryan Singer. What do you think about?
I'm thinking about days past and days ahead that are past.
Yeah. What do you ever think about the present, or you're constantly in a different time?
I spend a lot more time in the present than I do in the past.
Which is
I used to spend a lot of time in the past.
That's bad. That's not very good.
Oh no. Yeah. And one of the most famous quotes that I live my life by. If you have 1 foot in yesterday and 1 foot in tomorrow, you're pissing on today.
1 foot today.
No. 1 foot in yesterday.
1 foot in yesterday.
1 foot in tomorrow.
Today.
No, damn it. 1 foot in yesterday. Here, eat a gummy worm. You'll be able to hear me better.
All right. Let me see.
1 foot in tomorrow. Oh, wait, no. 1 foot in yesterday.
Yesterday.
1 foot in tomorrow. You're pissing on today.
Oh, because your penis is in the middle?
Right.
And the pee comes out of your penis?
Yep.
Got it. That makes sense.
Nice job.
Summary of the pilot. A surreal game show series starring Neil Hamburger described as a mix between a Japanese bizarre game show and The Price is Right. I can read your face.
That summary summarizes what this show is about.
You're off put right now.
I had a hard time with this one.
You had a hard time with this? Okay.
I was glad it was only 12 minutes.
I was just going to say, yeah.
Oh,
No, it's fine. It's
sorry.
What's that?
I'm sorry.
Do you mean that?
I always mean it.
Okay. As long as you're sorry. Yeah, I don't think you've apologized once about the gummy worms, but you're quick to apologize about your sour ass.
Because they're not sour gummies.
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Those are the best. Then you'd have a problem with me eating them. This is a 12-minute show it was on Adult Swim, the Cartoon Network late night version. Like, Nickelodeon, it was all for kids, and that night you had Nick at Night.
Right.
And now Cartoon Network's got Adult Swim for about 10 years now. They've had that.
Right, because what are you going to do? Kids are not staying up. They should not be watching TV at 12:30, so why not?
These kids are exhausted. Put them to bed and have mom and dad can have a little fun with some adult cartoon humor, right?
Yeah, because they're not getting sex.
They're not getting sex. At some point, things dry up. Things are flaccid, Time has its way with the genitals.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting facts.
Ooh.
Here's a part of the show that exists. Tell me about interesting facts.
I can't believe we're doing 3 of these.
Interesting facts. Whoops.
Interesting facts. Jason scours the internet looking for information about... Really? You're going to eat... Jeez. Really? You're going to eat 4 of them. Okay. That was $8 for that bag. No. But just go ahead. It was worth a laugh. Interesting facts. We're going to tell you some facts. It's not for you, me, or Dupree to decide whether they're interesting or not. That's just the title we give this segment of the show. Do not look at your friend and say, man, that was an interesting fact. Do not hug your girlfriend and kiss her on the back of the neck and say, this is interesting. Don't put it on our Facebook, Twitter, none of that. Just absorb it. Do with it what you will internally.
These gummy worms are exquisite. I take back everything I said. I fault you not at all for consuming these during the flight. These are just delicious.
Thank you very much.
You want to know what happened behind the scenes? You want to know what happened building up to and beyond the release of The Big Ball starring Neil Hamburger? We're going to tell you. We've got all the interesting facts available right now. Man, those are just some... They're like...
See, no, like when I'm eating them, you notice that I'm eating them, and then you try to keep talking until I get done. Me, leave you hanging.
They're like...
Like a giraffe.
I touch them. you leave them hanging like a suicidal horse. I touch the gummy worms, and they're not oily.
No.
There's no, I remove it from my fingers, and as they go in my mouth, I look back at my fingers. There's no residue.
Yep, no sticky.
But I put them in my mouth, and they're so juicy.
They were.
How does that happen?
And they're not really sugary. They're just more juicy.
Oh, my God.
Good on you, Tanner's Orchard.
A deal at twice the price, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And if you like gummy worms, go to tannersorchard.com. TANNERSORCHARD.com. And try to see if you can find yourself some gummy worms.
Oh, my God, delicious. Interesting facts. In July 2008, New York Times article, it was reported that Tim and Eric were in the process of developing the surreal game show starring Neil Hamburger, titled The New Big Ball, with Neil Hamburger, a spin-off of Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, Great Job, along with Check It Out with Dr. Stephen Brule. Tell me your feelings about Tim and also Eric.
They are comedic geniuses in their own right, but they're all very off-the-wall comedic geniuses. They're very... When you say alternative comedy, they are the complete one end, like the high end of that spectrum. Like, they are alternative as you can get, in my opinion. That's not for everybody. They are very good at not using a lot of money. You know, they can make their jokes and they can be funny and they can do creative stuff without using tons and tons of money and being flashy.
They can be overly gross. They use a lot of sound effects. They love like things that are VHS feeling, like things that appear to be poorly edited or shot.
80s kind of feel.
Sure. And just very bizarre, weird humor.
Right.
And they're masters of it. Personally, I love Tim and Eric. Anything that they do, they even had a movie called Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie.
Is that with the zoo? I mean, not a zoo, but the mall?
Yes. I love that movie. Will Forte is in it. He's awesome. That show is Jeff Goldblum is in it at one point. Robert Loggia, R.I.P., is in it. And then you've got the comedian, or the comedy, I'm sorry, starring Tim Heidecker, which is a drama.
Right, I haven't seen that.
That's good.
Is it?
There's a couple funny parts, but it's more weird.
Sure.
It's more kind of this dark drama comedy, but it's not so funny. It's kind of fucked up, honestly. Right. But a lot of the stuff they do, Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories, awesome show, great job. Tom Goes to the Mayor, all their shorts for Ready or Funny or Die. These guys are a master of their craft. They've carved out a comedy niche for themselves, and they've populated it with all these different bizarre characters and different shows. I love Tim and Eric. I am ready to check out anything, pun intended, to check it out with Dr. Stephen Brule that they are ready to put out there. You ever seen Check It Out?
Oh, yeah, I love Dr. Brule.
He's great.
Yeah.
John C. Reilly, I believe, to be a wildly fucked up individual. Did you hear him on WTF?
Yeah, I did. It was really weird. I don't know. It was one of those things, like, is he trying to be creepy?
I don't think he wants to give away his method. He wants to work as a professional the way he believes a professional is to work, and not reveal his secrets or acknowledge certain things about the business. He will not acknowledge that he is Stephen Brule.
Right.
During that interview, he was talking like he was this completely separate character.
Right.
It makes me believe that he's a little messed up, but he also loves to collaborate with Will Ferrell.
Right.
You know, him and Will Ferrell. I think they've been in 2 or 3 movies together, and I think they have 2 or 3 more on the hopper coming out in the next few years. So that makes me question Will Ferrell. Like, how fucked up is Will Ferrell that he gels so well with this guy? They're both wildly talented.
Right.
Anyway, we'll move past that. I'm sorry. Check It Out with Dr. Stephen Brule. I think it ran for 3 seasons, and it's kind of like a Curb Your Enthusiasm. Whenever they decide to make more, they just come out.
Right.
There's no schedule for that. But obviously, this New Big Ball, only had 1 episode, and that's why we're talking about it. In late July 2009, Neil Hamburger, the star of the show, posted a blog on MySpace stating that a pilot had been filmed, but that Adult Swim was not satisfied and had pulled the plug on the project.
Adult Swim gives you a lot of reign.
They really do.
And for them to say, I'm pulling the plug on something, it makes you wonder. You
really got to take a step back and say, what are we doing here?
I see some really stupid shit on that channel.
Oh, for sure. Assy McGee?
Yeah.
Did you ever see Assy McGee? It's about a cop that's just an ass. It's like a bare ass.
Oh, I thought you meant like he was an asshole, like a rude guy.
No, he was just a bare naked white man's ass. And it wasn't a man attached to it. It was just legs and an ass. That made it on. That ran for a season. As of November 8th, 2013, the pilot has been uploaded to the official Adult Swim website. The pilot was never aired, and at some point, Adult Swim that there were no plans to air it or release the episode in the foreseeable future. It was considered all but lost and may have never been seen by the general public. But obviously, they did end up releasing it. Tim Heidecker then tweeted the following on September 12th, 2013. He probably knew what he was going to say the day before, but since it's a national tragedy, he probably waited the next day to talk about it. You asked for it. The new Big Ball game show pilot at Neil Hamburger is coming out to the web soon. And on November 7th, 2013, the pilot was released on Adult Swim's website. So a lot of stuff there.
A lot of interesting
facts. Of stuff. Yeah, a lot of them for sure. So let's take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll come back and talk about this very bizarre pilot show, but only after we listen to a promo from one of my favorite shows, the Low Blow Podcast.
Are you sick of spoiled white people and Donald Trump bringing you the news you could care less about?
Are you sick of trolling the interwebs for penis-related news only to end up flaccid?
Do you lust for Florida only the way a mother lover can?
Then look no further than Fakakta Comedy Funhouse's Low Blow Podcast with Adam Z and Dave Rowan.
Streaming live every week at lowblowpodcast.net and available for download Thursdays at fcfnetwork.com.
Appropriately inappropriate. Oh!
Love that O. Love when Dave Rowan from Low Blow Podcast says, "Oh!"
Can't wait. Just a couple, 3 or 4 more weeks till we meet him.
And that is okay. I was gonna say they're both coming down, right?
That's correct.
And is the internet aware of Adam Z's future? Is that something we can talk about?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that he.
That's fine. We'll move past that, and we'll get into the new big ball with Neil Hamburger. Immediately, the intro is something from like Saved by the Bell, late 80s, early 90s graphics, kind of a blue-green screen, a lot of like horizontal and vertical lines, and kind of zooming in and out, just weird things flying around. And in this green screen, you see Neil Hamburger. How would you describe
Neil Hamburger is about 45 years old. He has a comb over that's very sticky. It's there are big clumps of it sticking to his head. He has a suit on. He has a large pair of nerdy glasses.
Yes.
He talks kind of through his nose, maybe.
Speech impediment,
and he has a hold of like 3 highballers of obviously like vodka or martinis or something. Disheveled dress. He has a blazer on and a somewhat a suit, but it doesn't fit.
Very oily, very greasy figure.
Yeah.
Neil Hamburger, not his real name, right?
What?
Yeah, his real name is Greg Turkington, and this is a character that is the most popular thing he's ever done is this character, and he'll show up in like L.A. comedy clubs and stuff, and he'll do his act, and it's kind of
he'll do it as Neil Hamburger,
right? And it's very much in the same vein, if you ask me, as Bob Zamuda and Andy Kaufman, the character that they had.
Right.
What is that guy's name? God damn it. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The lounge singer.
Right.
They're real rude and crappy. To me, it's the same thing.
Sure.
They completely invest in this character. They are this person, and he's bad on purpose. The funny is in the irony of his bad delivery and his crap jokes. He's very coarse and very oily, greasy, disgusting-looking guy. I know. I think around the same time, Tim and Eric took a liking to him. So did Tom Green. Remember Tom Green?
This is the Tom Green Show. It's not the Green Tom Show.
The show is built on the backs of his songs. Tom Green really took a liking to Neil Hamburger, and I get that. To me, those two would jive.
They would definitely jive. They would be able to have lengthy conversations that make sense to each other.
So Greg Turkington would perform as Neil Hamburger sometimes on the Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Great job. And I think they had a segment on it once called The New Big Ball that they said, maybe we could spin something off. And when you get popular like Tim and Eric, the networks sometimes will come to you and say, hey, if you got any ideas,
right,
we're willing to work with you on a couple projects. We'd be happy to develop them, and maybe who knows what could happen. And this is something they chose.
Right. FCF Network has got a hold of us many times about DSJ having his own show.
Sure. And what was that about again?
Huh? What
was DSJ's show about? I can't remember what.
Oh, just his life. He was just going to talk about his life.
Right. Yeah. Life as a humble tarmac worker. And you think, that's not that interesting. Oh, my God.
Oh, the stories he has.
The stories just alone that we have told, that we've got permission for him to tell. And it keeps getting deeper. Unbelievable. I would pay to listen to that show.
Sure.
Show opens up with this character we've described, Neil Hamburger. And then your announcer is Linda, the bodybuilder.
Yeah, Linda is just this muscle-bound, like 80s muscle-bound woman with a bikini on and the straight hair and, somebody you would see at like a bodybuilding competition. The women just overly, disgustingly...
Just bodybuilding competitions are made up of a bunch of women that were sexually molested and now have turned to bodybuilding as a way to rebuild their confidence or take power back in their life. And it's a little sad, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's offsetting. It's off-putting. I feel uncomfortable.
I agree.
Because you don't know whether to look at them
they're not a sexual being.
No,
anymore. They are outside of gender at that point.
That's it. That's what it is. I don't know. Is this a guy or is this a girl? Is this a girl being a guy or a guy being a girl? But she's the Vanna White of this show.
Yeah, I would say so. So I almost something else I made a note of here is watching Neil Hamburger perform is that he's kind of a parody of like a 1960s comedian. You think kind of again well dressed. He's got like in a tuxedo.
Right, but it's really kind of sloppy though. I mean,
yeah, but it's kind of a weird parody of
like a road comic, like
a lounge comic or something.
Yeah, like a 60s, 70s Vegas lounge, like
Vegas,
the Golden Nugget.
Yep.
He's road weary. He's been there, done that, and now he's making money just off his name because he might not be funny anymore, or he might just not even be trying anymore. But he's making his paycheck based off of his name.
Sure, using a lot of old and tired jokes. They say some songs are public domain. You can sing "Happy Birthday" to you, and anyone can sing that. It's public domain. You don't owe anyone that. And there are jokes out there like that too. There are public domain jokes that sometimes comics will kind of use as filler in their act. And this feels like this is all this guy would do.
Yeah.
So they at this point they say, "Hey, you know what? Here, welcome to the New Big Ball. Let's meet our contestants. We got Ben,
Tracy,
and Rodney."
Yep.
Ben is a comedy fan and also an asshole. I don't know why he says that, but that's what he says.
Yeah, he insults each one of them.
He does. He says, "Tracy, where are you from? I'm from this place. Oh, wasn't there a child murdered there in that town?"
Right.
And it's very uncomfortable. And she's like, "Yeah, that did happen."
He's like, "I just wanted to let people know," or something like that.
Yeah, just an inappropriate, nonsensical thing to say. And Rodney, I think the joke there was that
he was just an ordinary plain guy,
nothing going on.
No,
the studio audience is laughing, but it's obvious that this is all very scripted.
Sure.
And it's not a real audience, just people laughing hysterically when they're supposed to or sitting stone-faced when they're supposed to.
Or a mix of that. There was a lot of times when they did the shots of the audience, you had a mix of reaction.
One guy losing his mind while everyone's just stone-faced. And it's like a general panning or quick shot to the audience. Right. And it's supposed to be bizarre and quick when you see these things. Then he says, "Hey, we got Corbin Burnson over here in the isolation chamber." And that never plays into anything.
No.
It's just kind of a bizarre thing.
Sure. It's just, it's there to be there. And the fact that nothing happens from it is the joke.
That's the joke. How long could that sustain itself? I don't know.
About 12 minutes.
About 12 minutes, exactly. Corbin Burnson, of course, we know from like L.A. Law. Wasn't he in L.A. Law?
Yeah, in Major League.
The Major League movies, right? And he's in this chamber where he can't.
He's got headphones on,
and he can't hear anything.
Nope.
And if he were to speak, you wouldn't hear anything from him.
Right.
He's just sitting in there, not doing really anything.
No, the first shot of him sitting there, he's just happy. He's got a smile on his face. He's like, "I'm on a game show."
Yeah.
And that quickly goes to a different way.
They then say the first round is Trivial Ball.
Trivial Ball.
That is actually very good. Have you been practicing that?
No. That was off the cuff.
That does sound like Neil Hamburger very much. That's the first game they're going to play. And it's a question, and actually a legitimate question. In the film Monsters Ball, because everything's ball related,
right?
In some way.
Yeah, there's some kind of pun to do with the ball.
It said in the movie Monsters Ball, Halle Berry sleeps with which of the following? And they give a list of 4 people. The correct answer, of course, and I knew it, even though I haven't seen the movie, was Billy Bob Thornton. And Ben guesses that correctly. But something funny in there he says is like the disgraced comedian Billy Crystal,
right?
Who is at this point in time, as you and I speak, is not disgraced.
No, not at all. He's actually on an uprise again.
Yeah, and there was someone. He did mention someone else in there that he said something funny about. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I didn't take a lot of notes, detailed notes in regards to what was said.
I was scrambling because I knew in 12 minutes, the way Tim and Eric work, I'd be just nonstop writing, and that's exactly what I did. So Ben gets that right. He gets X amount of points on the scoreboard, whatever. And so far, it's as silly as it is. It's playing like a real game show.
Right.
Next round is Blue Ball.
Blue Ball.
Blue Ball.
The next game.
You had it.
Blue Ball.
And it's back. Contestants are put in these almost their own
like the
chambers.
The Chuck E. Cheese chambers, where
the tickets are.
Yeah, well, the tickets, they all blow up at you. You got to catch them.
Yep.
It's kind of like that, only the balls are coming down. They're all different colors, all different sizes, and they have these blue sacks that are supposed to look like balls.
Nut sacks,
and they have to catch as many balls as possible.
Try to get as many blue, right?
Blue. If they got red ones, they get points taken off. But there was yellow and green ones and every color you could think of.
The balls were up to their waist when they were done. There were so many there. So they were really coming down fast. It was very difficult. And I don't know how much time was on the clock. And while this was happening, I noticed the audience was booing, which I really liked a lot. I really liked that the audience was not on board for this.
Like, this is dumb. And then, then they cut back and they are, how do you measure? So they have this big tube.
Let me say real quick, I'm sorry. While the balls are coming down, Neil's talking to Linda, the bodybuilder, and he's asking her how much she can lift. And you mentioned a giraffe earlier, and here she says that she can lift a giraffe.
Right.
Maybe cut the neck off is what he says. Right. But yes, you're right. Then they start counting the balls.
And it's funny if you watch it. So they put them in these tubes, and there's sound effect every time there's a blue one and a red one.
Crazy Tim and Eric sound effects.
But you'll notice that a lot of times if you look close enough, the contestants are dropping balls in this thing that are either blue or red. I mean, it's just an editing thing like they did. But I noticed that
it's on purpose too. They're not stupid. They do this stuff just to fuck around. It's funny. At the end of that, Rodney is in the lead, and the crowd chants his name. They love it. They cannot believe what they're seeing.
They're killing it for Rodney.
Oh boy. And yeah, here I noticed that Neil does have a bit of a speech impediment for sure. Next round, they take the person with the lowest score, which is Ben. He got the first question right, but he lacked in the ball counting thing, or the blue ball game. So he gets to play a round of personal
ball.
Where the balls there's 4 balloons, basically, and they're all balloons, and they contain emotions, and he must use a pellet gun to match his emotion. He must shoot one, hoping that the emotion...
Right, but he can't see what they are.
He has no idea. And in one of these 4 balls is the wild ball. And if he shoots that...
The wild ball.
That's right. And then Neil Hamburger will reveal something embarrassing, personally embarrassing about Ben. And what does Ben do? Of course he hits the wild ball, right?
Right.
And he fails.
In between, when they were setting that up, then they take another shot at Corbin. He's just sitting there in the isolation booth, just kind of looking around. It's starting to seem like I don't know what's going on here.
Right. Then personal ball was going to be if you get it right, you get double points, or if you get it wrong, you get all your points taken away. And then he got all his points taken away. And then you see Corbin Burnson. And the embarrassing thing was that apparently Ben was masturbating in the bathroom of a popular chain restaurant. It's pretty embarrassing.
Always. Every time it's happened to me.
Oh, that specific example, or just masturbating in general?
Oh, masturbating in a popular chain restaurant.
You can't control how you feel.
Right, Golden Corral. Been there, done that. Denny's. Been there.
Mark it off the list. Is there an app for keeping track of all the places you masturbate?
No, you just got to do it internally.
Will you create an app for that?
I don't really have the time.
Darn it. I mean, obviously 6 days a week you're doing nothing. You would think that you'd have time.
If there was 8 days a week, I would.
Are you still on the Rock documentary kick?
No, that Rolling Stone one killed it for me. I didn't even finish it.
The next round is eyeball.
What
happened in this round?
That's where they have a jar of eyeballs and like Jello and gooped up, and each contestant has to get matching eyeballs and put them in their the mannequin.
The Jello is red.
The Jello's red, so and they have to put matching eyeballs in their mannequin. Yeah. Once they have matched the 2 eyes and put them in their mannequin, they fit. They have to rip the head off of the mannequin. Then they have to shoot the head into a basketball hoop.
Yeah, yes, they do. It's really, and when they take the head off, it's like a bunch of like guts and goop hanging off. It's so gross.
But like you can't see that at all. Like they just like looks like regular mannequins until they rip the head off. And I'm not a comedy genius. Obviously, you've listened to the show. I'm not a comedy genius. I think I'm a funny guy at times.
Yeah.
A lot of times I know I'm not funny.
Okay.
But I'm thinking if we were sitting around at a table trying to come up with a concept and come up with a thing, like we would show this to somebody. If it was just me or you showing it to somebody, they would be like, "You need to go back to high school." It is very odd.
This is very odd. Yeah. They put the eyes in there, and they're trying to make a basket with it. The first person gets a bunch of points, the middle person gets some points, and the person at the bottom gets no points.
Right.
And Linda, the bodybuilder, is officiating.
Right. She's
over
like,
there.
Good shot.
Hey, good work.
Good job.
Good job.
Rodney wins again.
Yeah, he sure does. And so he's in the lead. Ben is at no points, and then Linda puts him in a headlock and takes him away. He's out of the game.
Right. If at the end of that round, she puts him in I thought she was going to give him a noogie.
Yeah, for real.
But she manhandled him.
Took him right out of there.
Pun intended.
Neil Hamburger then says, you know what? These are our two contestants that are left. Congratulations for making it to the final round. Here is the grand prize if you are to win it. It's a trip to Prim, Nevada, where you get meal vouchers and a bunch of nickels to play their slots there.
Right, and they have a roller coaster. It was just some shady. It was some old,
like 40 miles outside of Vegas or something. Just some crap hole in the wall. This all segues into the final game, Balling Babies.
Meanwhile, Corbin Burnson is still sitting in there, and he's getting very frustrated, and they're not even doing anything with him.
Nothing is happening. He has nothing to do, this poor man. Balling Babies is a game. While he's describing it, he's talking loudly, as he's apt to do. And Linda, being the co-host, and the Vanna White, she shushes him.
Right, she shushes him, and then he starts talking a little bit lower. But basically, it's an obstacle course of all these loud noises, like chimes and just all this
metal garbage cans, balloons.
Anything that makes noise, it's in here. And at the other end of it is a baby crib, and there's a little baby,
a real
little baby, sleeping. Mm-hmm. And the object of the game is to get over there and pull something out, pull a ball out of their bassinet. Using
those little trash pickers,
uppers, or like for old people who can't bend over.
And the whole time, what are they wearing?
Oh, they're wearing glasses that are really thick, and they change your sight.
It jacks their vision. It's like magnifying glasses or something. These big, thick Coke bottle lenses. They get all the way through.
Cute babies.
Yeah, they're adorable. Love a good baby.
I love a good baby when it's not mine.
Tracy wins. She wins the grand prize. The game is over. The game is sponsored by Toad's Courtesy Coach. The end.
Thank God.
Thank God, huh?
Thank God.
Turbulence. This show's got it.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
12 minutes. Got to keep it tight. You don't have a lot of time. Not a lot of time to screw around or screw up.
Right.
How did the new big ball, first of all, whatever happened to the old big ball? How do they screw up? Where's the turbulence? Wherein lies the turbulence here?
First of all, I don't do any research prior to watching these, so I didn't know it was a Tim and Eric thing.
Do you think this was a genuine venture into game shows?
Well, I didn't. I thought it was just some, like the Birthday Boys or something.
Okay.
But if I would have known it was Tim and Eric, I would have made sense. Mm-hmm. It didn't make sense at all.
No.
What was going on didn't make any sense whatsoever.
And that's on purpose, I think.
Right, it's on purpose, but I was very uncomfortable very quickly.
Yeah. What would you do to improve this game? Is there anything that can be done to salvage this game show with that man as its host?
No, I think that the concept, what they were going for, they nailed.
Okay, I think so too. I agree with that. And if it survived, do you want to see those same games, or do you want to be kind of like The Price is Right, where you've got a handful of games, different ones that they're kind of cycling in and out?
Sure, it's just like IBWIP, they have different bits. IBWIP.com, they have different bits that they recycle, and they move in and out.
Right.
But I mean, this is to make it a real game show. You're going to have different people every time. Contestants.
Yeah.
I mean, is it going to get boring really quick after a couple episodes?
Maybe. Yeah. It's on Tim and Eric Awesome Show, great job. They had a bunch of different bits, and they didn't always go back to the same ones. A lot of times they were just new, weird ideas that they hung around with for like 2 or 3 minutes and then moved on to the next one. This would be a lot of the same stuff over and over.
I think Neil Hamburger would be funny in a different context.
Okay.
Yeah, a game show I didn't really think was
kind of just.
It wasn't
grinding as a host.
It didn't focus on being funny. You know what I mean? As as a game show host, you're slowly there to keep things moving. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not necessarily centered on.
It's not a platform for him to be funny.
Right,
Just
right.
little segues.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's take this in for a final descent.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
Last episode, Life Twirls On. Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kenya Moore. She made her own show, right? I don't know Kenya Moore. I don't know how.
I don't know Kenya less.
You know, I don't know the how rabid the fans of the Real Housewives series are. I feel like Tim and Eric have a very loyal and rabid fan base.
Definitely.
Knowing that, I look at the IMDb score, and while it is almost twice that of Life Twirls On at a 6.2, Life Twirls On had 25 ratings, while this show only has 18, which is funny to me. The people, Tim and Eric, is a younger audience. You know, people probably in their late teens to maybe. I'll include myself, late or early 30s or mid 30s, because I enjoy Tim and Eric. I think they're very funny, and you'd think that they'd be more tech savvy and more apt to go out and search this out.
Right.
It's got less reviews, and more so, no viewer reviews. More so, no critic reviews. No one is out there talking about the new Big Ball with Neil Hamburger.
Is it because it was only 12 minutes long?
I don't know.
Is it because it was just on Adult Swim website?
Maybe. I mean, that other one, The Real Housewives, is only on Facebook and YouTube. I mean, it's on. You can also find. Adult Swim is the best site to go to, and you can get there by subscribing to Couch Pilots and going through our show notes, of course. But it's also on YouTube. So a lot of these shows, there are different avenues, and we try to give you the best one with the highest definition and the least chance for viruses. That's our shtick. But I don't know if just being on the internet has ever stopped something. I think a few episodes ago we watched A Gay Robot, and that was only ever online and had been viewed hundreds of thousands of times. So I don't think just being online stops people from watching it. People don't know about this. No one's talking about it.
We're helping them out.
And you would think they would get back to us on Twitter.
No.
They did not. None of them.
Of course not.
Even the low men on the totem pole I get in hold of, and they don't have anything to say. That's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of the mystique and the allure of Tim and Eric is that they don't. Anytime we see an interview with them, they're all very jokey.
I'll tell you what. I've heard some interviews with Tim Heidecker, and to be honest with you, I don't know if it's being meta or what, but he is. I don't think he's funny on interviews. I really think he's very asshole-ish kind of in a way.
I love him when he's on Comedy Bang Bang. Anytime that he's on there, he's usually very funny. He is kind of being an asshole. I've only ever heard maybe one or two interviews where he's not doing shtick. But most of the time, his shtick is that he tries to not talk about whatever the person wants to talk about, and he's very he tries to deny all the premises. He doesn't want to
uncooperative.
Yeah, he's very much so. And I think that's funny. I could totally see that guy being a huge prick, but I'm not looking to be his best friend.
Sure.
I want to watch the things that he creates because he's funny. So I don't know. It's funny to me that no one has seen this, despite the popularity of those people.
Yeah,
comedy fans love those guys. Real comedy, like hardcore nerdy comedy fans love Tim and Eric. This show is out there. It's one of their babies. They're not in it, but it is produced by them. No one's talking about it. There are no reviews. I don't know if we've ever done an episode of Couch Pilots that had no critic or viewer reviews.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. But you know what? There's going to be a couple reviews out there in a minute, and those reviews are coming from us. High five.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11, and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
I'll high five it with you real quick. Nice. Now it's our time to rate this show.
We're obviously going to be the first people ever on the face of the earth to do this.
I don't know. There's another podcast out there talking about the new Big Ball with Neil Hamburger, maybe for good reason. Please explain our rating process here. Very good. That's exactly right. I give it exactly one. Whoops.
The rating system is based off of the hit TV series Wings.
Yep.
We love it. It was the backbone of the development of this show.
There would be no Couch Pilots without Sandpiper Air.
Right. We rate from 1 to 7 because that makes it mathematically difficult to divvy it up in a percentage standpoint. We did that on purpose.
I'm not a math guy.
We could have did the top 5 characters of Wings. No.
Sure, no. I'm not a math guy. I'm not trying to make it easy for anyone.
I'm not a math guy. No.
This show is built on the back of his songs. What makes you think that you can just sing that whenever you want?
I'd sing whatever I want whenever I want.
That's right. So it is. Our rating system is built on this. Some 7 main characters. You got Roy Biggins at the bottom. He's a terrible guy, big fat motherfucker who sucks.
It's a 1.
It's a number 1.
Yeah.
And then at the very top, you got Brian Hackett.
The man.
Love that guy. Freewheeling Bob Dylan.
Good
over
looking.
Here. Bomber jacket.
Aw, loving life.
I fly how I want to fly,
right.
you know?
This is my place.
Owns it. Number 7. Cream of the crop.
It rises to the top.
It rhymes.
Thanks.
Captain Philip Restasher.
Yes.
The new big ball with Neil Hamburger. I turn to you. What is your rating, sir?
Oh, it was only 12 minutes long. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I should take my score and double it.
Or half it. If it went on another 12 minutes, wouldn't it have been even worse for you?
Wouldn't it have been? Could it have possibly been better?
We'll never know. Unless you watch it back to back.
You want to kiss from back to back real quick?
Sure.
Ooh. I like when you do that. I hate 3.
3? This will be the same set of scores from last time. I'm going to give this a 4.
That's 4 episodes in a row.
That we've what?
3 and 4.
Is it really? To me, actually, you know what? You go ahead and explain your score first.
I didn't like Linda. It's not very appealing to watch. Again, Neil. I think Neil Hamburger is the character who would be good, like doing a stand-up bit or you know what I mean, or hosting a talk show,
Mm-hmm.
even. I didn't like the game show aspect of it. It didn't do anything for me. That's fine. I don't want to talk fancy. It didn't
Okay.
work.
I'm going to talk fancy if you don't mind.
Oh, I would love it if you talk fancy.
I'm predisposed to like this because it's Tim and Eric. Like I said before, I love a lot of the things they do. I think they're very funny. They have a very distinct style, and this fits right into their mythology, right in their wheelhouse. Exactly. It was mentioned in Interesting Facts, and I have to believe it's an actual fact because I don't know otherwise, and I haven't seen the episode, but they said it's a spinoff of Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Great job. If this is just a 2 or 3 minute segment in that show, that's perfect.
Right.
That's where that works best. Neil Hamburger is a friend of theirs. It's someone they collaborate with. They want to maybe say, hey, let's get a vehicle for Greg Turkington. This character he does is great. There's got to be something we can do with this. This is not it.
No.
I could not watch this week in and week out. There are funny aspects of it. I definitely did enjoy part of it. I didn't despise it as much as you did. And I guess a 3 is not really despising it, but it's not a great score. This works. This show would work well as a 2 or 3 minute bit every once in a while on Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Great job. I could not watch this every week.
Could you see Neil Hamburger as like a talk show host, but doing a 12-minute bit as a talk show host?
I would definitely watch it. It would be tough to say if they would work. I wouldn't mind watching, again, a 2 or 3 minute version of that in Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Great job.
That's what I mean.
Okay, but as far as it turning into like a 12-minute thing or its own show, I would watch it, but I can't say if I'd continue to watch it, but I would definitely give it a chance. This is right down the line. It was not great. It was okay, but it definitely wasn't terrible. I would suggest watching this if you're a Tim and Eric fan, absolutely. And even if you're not, give it a shot and see what kind of weird shit is out there.
Right.
This is among that for sure. Oh, boy. And with those wonderful ratings of a 3 and a 4, we close the book on the new big ball with Neil Hamburger forever and never to be mentioned again.
Never.
Ever. But we're not done. Please join us next time when we watch the pilot episode of Zombieland. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. 4 survivors are killing zombies and searching for a place to call home. At least they've got each other. You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes. Or go to dailymotion.com and search Zombieland Pilot. Little tidbit of this. This was part of a slew of pilot TV shows that Amazon.com released in some of its Amazon Prime effort to see which pilots would go forward based on viewers and their own thoughts. So they released this for viewers to check out. I will also say, as we go further, Daily Motion is going to have more and more of the pilots that we search out, more and more of the obscure ones. This one isn't that obscure. This has been viewed many times, the Zombieland pilot. But some of the more obscure ones will only be able to be found at dailymotion.com. Go to your app engine, wherever you do apps.
Thank you.
Download the dailymotion.com. We're not getting a kickback for them. I know that on my computer, it gets a little weird. It gets choppy. It freezes on me if I go to the Daily Motion site.
They don't have the bandwidth. They don't have the bandwidth on the actual site.
That must be it. That must be it. Because when I go to their site, I have problems. When I go to their app, I don't have problems. Right. So anyone out there who wants to check out these shows, I would definitely suggest downloading the free Daily Motion app and checking out a lot of these shows on there. And how are you going to get there? By subscribing to Couch Pilots. Click on that safe, classically blue link. That'll take you right to the show. You'll be able to watch what we watch, enjoy what we enjoy, hate what we hate.
And if you disagree with us, if you end up watching something and feel differently about it or agree with us at all or want to send in your rating, Facebook, Twitter,
right?
Email us at couchpilotspodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you about what you thought of stuff that we watched.
Yep. All the information that you send us is sent through our machine here, known as the Pachinko machine, that we wind up every night. There's no electricity involved. We really eliminated the carbon footprint of Couch Pilots. And any kind of information, any involvement you have with the show adds into frequent flyer miles. And those miles turn into things such as maybe making an appearance on the show. Maybe you can call in. Maybe we send you some signed aviator glasses. Maybe, just maybe, you get a surprise prize. So
no other podcast is doing that. No other podcast is saying, "Hey, if you consistently do some feedback, we will definitely give you something out of it."
If you share the show with a friend, which honestly, in all seriousness, is the best way and the most powerful way to help us out, is to tell a friend or two about our show. And anytime you share, anytime you stream, download one of our episodes, it's all money, baby. It's all frequent flyer points.
Cha-ching.
Suck them up. Suck them up. Go to fcfnetwork.com. That's our home. That's our family. That's a place that we like to call home, right?
Definitely. Some great podcasts on there. Drunken Lullabies, if you're into craft beer or, comedic antics. Mm-hmm. That's a great podcast. They're taking off. They're huge.
Yeah.
They're huge. They have a sponsor for about 9 months now.
Yeah. But people that are paying them to do the show, they could classify themselves as professional podcasters at this point.
Yeah.
A feat that I cannot claim.
No. Low Below Podcast. It's been a little bit of hiatus, but there's plenty of episodes out there. There's 200 some episodes out there.
Check out their backlog. Do they really have 200 plus episodes?
I believe so.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
They've been doing it for a long time. The song Inside and Out, IBWIP, which that's the cornerstone.
Yeah, we got like 270 episodes of that. It's crazy.
Yeah, going on 10 years. Sex with Heather, there's that's on hiatus right now, but there's a huge backlog of episodes of that.
She's got a nice little following of people. If you want to be there, if you want to see what the hype is about, go check out Sex with Heather for sure.
Believe the hype.
Yeah. They say don't believe the hype. I say do believe it.
Believe that.
And with that, this pilot may have been rough, but it is always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, lady, I love you. Bye-bye.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
This has been a Fakakta Comedy Funhouse production. produced by Jason Tosher, executive produced by Blake Clayton. For more information and content, go to fcfnetwork.com.